everybody. Welcome to another episode of What a Hell of a Way to Dad. It's Francis again, and I have with me once again Jack Forman, musician, kid entertainer extraordinaire. Jack, how are you doing today?
I'm great, but I need some advice, actually.
Okay.
You're the perfect person for this.
Okay, I'm here.
Okay, here's my quandary. For the last 4 nights, my family and I have been kept up super late. Every night, starting at about 9 p.m., we start hearing this meowing coming from somewhere outside. So obviously it's a cat. We assumed it was our neighbor's long-haired cat. Maybe it was locked out. Maybe it was injured. I went outside multiple times, in the midnight to 2 a.m. hour for the last 4 nights, trying to figure out what's making this noise. We finally figured it out. It's a lost kitten that we were able to catch. We trapped this kitten and we brought it into the house. It is now in our bathroom downstairs, where we've set up like a little Airbnb type situation. We've got litter, we've got food and half and half. We've got everything there. Here's where I need some advice. My kids want to keep it, and we already have 2 cats. What do you think? What do we do?
Well, as somebody who had 2 cats and now has 3, I don't think I'm gonna help you out very much here.
Oh no, I've come to the wrong person.
The universe dispersal of cats just has this happen. Our first 2 cats kind of just wandered up to the house. We had one that we have a bird area set up that has a lot of cover. It's got a bird bath. It's got bird feeders and everything. And we had our little orange cat that he's not so little anymore, but the orange cat that we found, he was stalking birds. So we said, no, you can't do that. And we brought him in. And that, the advice I can give you, though, is that when you take in an intact cat, hasn't had any shots, hasn't been spayed, neutered, or anything like that, you take him to the vet, you get all that stuff done, it's going to cost you about $500.
That's exactly what my estimate was. Exactly that number, yeah.
Now, with our second cat, our little tortoiseshell that I really wanted because I love torties, we took her, we captured her, I think, in like 2 Februaries ago. So we take her to the Humane Society and surrender. And then my wife and kid just watched the Humane Society's website, and as soon as that cat popped up as available to be adopted, they went and adopted it, and it was $10 Kitten Tuesday. So now we kicked in. I think we paid like $50. I think because we love our Humane Society, that's where we take all of our pets for everything. And
sure.
Actually, my daughter's 9th birthday was at the Humane Society. You can get a party room there for pretty cheap.
No way. So, that's cool.
Well, our Humane Society, I don't know what you guys got going on in Seattle, but yeah, there's like $200 for the room, and they decorate, and then they had like ferrets and rats and a snake you could handle and play with and everything.
And everyone gets to walk away with like a dog that's been there for 6 months, right?
You get to walk away with
the litter.
A stuffed animal is what they get. Everybody got a stuffed.
More humane.
Yeah, so my daughter goes to the Humane Society all the time to read to the animals as they have people that volunteer to walk animals, and then they have kids come in and read to the animals because it helps socialize the animals. It gets them used to somebody talking to them. It's just a good way of like, hey, these dogs are cooped up for a long time. These cats are cooped up for a long time. They need more human interaction than what we can give them. So why don't you come in and you can read aloud to them and everything. So she does that stuff all the time. And has a great time with it. So we're big on our local Humane Society.
Well, I don't blame you. It's full of well-read animals. It's like going to grad school.
Yeah. And that's how we ended up getting our most recent cat. Was my wife said, look, they brought this cat in, and she's really scrawny, but she's got this tail that I think is going to really like, it was only poofy on the top end. And she's like, I know that this cat is going to be really big and fluffy and great. And so we went and met, and I was like, fine, I can deal with a 3rd cat. But my real hesitation comes because I have a Great Pyrenees as a dog, and I don't know if you know anything about those dogs.
No.
Mine is 100 pounds.
Whoa.
She is stubborn. She is smart. She does not take crap from anybody. She does not play with toys. She is only food and love motivated, and when you're a 100-pound dog, that means that whatever you want, you're going to shove your way in to get it. And my wife, every once in a while, when she sees a Pyrenees, she's like, oh, well, once Stella's gone, I feel like if we see a Pyrenees, we should adopt it, because we know what we're doing with the Pyrenees. They're very difficult dogs. And I said, that is going to be the first thing on the round of divorce papers that I serve you is that you brought home another Pyrenees. So I want something under 40 pounds now. I'm done with big dogs. I need something small and more fun. I want something cat-sized. I'm a cat person. I like cats. So
yeah, there you go. Okay, so your advice is basically that we drop it off at the Humane Society, let them work on the undercarriage, and then come back in, I presume, with like Groucho Marx glasses on and like long trench coats. Like, hello, I hear you have a pet here that needs adopting.
There's a small cat here that somebody dropped off about 4 days ago.
Some concerned citizen dropped off this cat. Good for them.
I don't think they care. You can just get whatever you go in and get the animal. I don't know how, like ours, they immediately post pictures once pets are available for adoption. So that's how my wife was just constantly refreshing to be like, no, we're going to get this cat. And then as soon as the cat was available, she went out and adopted it, and we brought her home. They gave her the name Janet, which I was not a fan of. We named her Ember because she's a tortoiseshell, which is mostly black with little splotches of orange and everything. And she is one of the worst cats I've ever owned, but I love her so much. She had a period of time when she was just peeing on everything. Oh yeah, because we brought a new cat in, and she wasn't a fan of that. Ugh. It comes down to the cats, you know. Marie, the most recent cat, we had her quarantined from the other cats, and after like 10 days, she's like busting out of the door, like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm here. I don't care about the dog. I don't care about the other cats. I'm here, and we're gonna be friends. And Ember, it took her about 4 months to stop constantly fighting with the orange cat. So she's a little complicated, you know. She's a little hard. She's our delicate little ficus of an animal, you know. Her upsides are she purrs a lot, and she likes to be picked up and like cradled like a baby. So if you're ever like getting those kind of empty nests, like, oh, you know, I miss having a baby, get a cat that really likes to be cuddled.
100%. Yeah.
Take care of all of that. Yeah. Because then you got a baby that you can leave at home for like days on end.
It's the
as long
ultimate
as they have
baby.
Food.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, terrible advice as a parent, but wonderful advice as a cat owner. Just leave them; they're gonna be fine.
They'll sort it out one way or another, or they'll just start peeing on everything. That took a while for us to sort out. She now eats on her own, and she's locked in the bathroom when she eats, and she has special cat litter that doesn't hurt her little bottom when she's peeing, and she gets lots of love and attention, and now she only pees on things like once a week instead of twice a day. So
wow, she sounds like a pretty princess to me.
Yeah, she is. She's a little hobgoblin of an animal sometimes.
Oh man. Okay, well, I'm gonna bury this episode of Hell of a Way to Dad so my kids never hear it. This is not the advice I wanted.
Well, that's if you take the cat to the Humane Society and leave him there, you get to have that like week of just like, well, maybe, you know, if there's like, look, if you want the cat, you got to watch the website, you got to make sure, and you got to pay the, you know, $20, $50, whatever dollars adoption fee is going to be, and then you'll see how much they really hold on to that cat. But it's hard. Kittens are cute. You know, they're adorable, but they grow up to be cats.
They do. Yeah. I mean, I like the idea of setting them up for that and then immediately scaling the telephone pole in our backyard and ripping the internet wires out of the house. Yeah, just get online. Oh, weirdest thing. Yeah, our Wi-Fi's been down for like a week and a half. Huh? So weird.
So, Jack, you recently took some time off and you went all over parts of the United States. You're in Seattle.
Correct.
And you went to a bunch of different national parks. I think you said 19 national parks?
I think it was 19 parks, which included some sort of fringe state parks, which really could have been national parks. But yeah, technically 13 national parks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my first question, because my wife really wants to do this as well, because we're homeschoolers. National parks are a big thing. Being military, I get in free to all of them. I actually got my little card that says I can go to any national park. I can go get lost in Yellowstone and eaten by a grizzly bear for free.
Score, yeah.
Yeah, very, very nice nice little perk to being a veteran.
Chum, you're bear chum, yeah.
Exactly. I'm not worried about land base. As long as I'm not shark chum, we'll be fine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just stay away from Dry Tortuga National Park in the Florida Keys and you'll be fine.
This is why I need you to tell me which ones are more water-based so I can stay away from those.
Well, so we only temporarily qualified for the same free admission deal that you have rightly earned. My daughter is just leaving fourth grade, just about to enter fifth grade. In fact, as we're recording this, we are 2 weeks now from the first day of school. But national parks have a fourth graders free campaign where any fourth grader can get on the national parks website, fill out 3 questions in a quick questionnaire, and they get a certificate, like just a paper printout that then entitles them to free admission. Them and anyone in the car with them to any national park.
Nice. You're cramming some kids into the trunk and everything.
Totally. Yeah.
Just like how we have a drive-in movie theater here, and for a while they were, charging by the person instead of by the car. So you just cram a couple of your friends into the trunk and drive into it.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah. Not the safest thing, but I mean, when you're just going there to, drink and watch movies, you're not really worried about your safety there. So she gets in, they get the whole family. And so you kind of had this trip planned around this, like we get in for free to all of these places. Yeah,
I heard that and it was just like cha-ching. I am incentivized to do this. I've always wanted to go to all those national parks. We live near a couple of them, Mount Rainier National Park and the Olympic National Park up on the peninsula. Those are spitting distance from Seattle. And I had been to a few, like I'd been to Glacier Park before. My wife and I went through a couple of times. I'd been to a few miscellaneous other ones, but there was so much of the Southwest that I had never seen. And I was really excited to check out. So it seemed like a good opportunity. Plus, we had done a lot of like flight-based travel in the years previous, and we really didn't have that family road trip experience that I remember having as a kid. And
you enjoyed your family road trips as a kid.
Oh, I didn't say that, but I had it.
But here I am ready to inflict it upon my children.
Hey, man, that's part of it, right? Toughen them up.
I know. It is. I have the exact same things. I hated driving around Missouri because we have the Ozark Mountains.
Yeah.
And they're not a big mountain range like, the Rockies or the Appalachians. They are low, winding down through southern Missouri and northern Arkansas. And I had family that lived down there, and it's just up and down and around and around and up and down. And as I'm in the back, 10 years old, reading a book and throwing up
totally.
Constantly throwing up. So I did not enjoy those. However, then I became an adult, and I'm like, as a proper Midwesterner, I'm like, that's only an 8-hour drive away. We're fine.
Oh, totally.
We can do that. We can do that in 6 if we don't stop. Like, here, you can pee in this empty Gatorade bottle. We got plenty of snacks in the back. I hit the gas. We'll do 90 miles an hour the entire way. It'll be fine.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I was born in Bloomington, Indiana, and have family all over Indiana. So I'm very familiar with Midwest geography.
have you and Nate talked Indiana yet? He's a fellow Hoosier.
Yep, totally. He's in everything, though. Nate has been everywhere and has lived in every zip code nationally and internationally. So I think the novelty of having shared space with other people wasn't quite as exciting for him, but for me, it was like, oh, another Hoosier. That's great.
Yeah. I don't know if you know, but in St. Louis, that's considered an insult.
Being a Hoosier. Oh yeah, I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it stems back to busing people in from Indiana to do strike breaking. Like 100 plus years ago. So now the Hoosiers are around. It kind of means white trash to us, but it's like a very St. Louis thing, which is very confusing to outsiders. We had that. I remember having that happen in grade school. One kid called another kid a Hoosier, and the teacher, who was not from St. Louis, is like, "Why? How do you know he's from Indiana?" I'm like, "No, we have to explain this to you. We're actually insulting each other. We're not having fun
pull
with
out
Indiana."
Your PowerPoint presentation. Yeah. Well, do you have 45 minutes to talk about strike busting?
Exactly.
Yeah, no, we, I left Indiana when I was 8, so this is only a vague memory, but I'm pretty sure that in Indiana, we spoke that way of people from Kentucky. So everyone in the Midwest just has one state that they've put beneath them.
Yeah, every city has another state or city that it hates. Like,
of course.
St. Louis and Chicago has a rivalry that I'm sure Chicago does not even know or care about.
They don't know they're playing the game. Exactly.
They're such a bigger and better city than we are, and it's just like, yeah, screw you guys, we hate the Cubs. And Chicago's like, I don't know, man. I'm at the Bean. What do you want? Like, stop yelling at me down there.
I'm digging into the Chicago-style pizza. I can't be bothered with you right now. You know, being in my band, Recess Monkey, we had done one really huge road trip in like 2.5 weeks. We drove 9,000 miles, like in a giant oval around the country, and managed to play a ton of shows in the middle of that too. And yeah, just lots of time on the road as an adult. Honestly, it was morbid curiosity of my kids complain about being on an airplane for 6 hours and in some cases 9 hours. How are they going to react to being in the car for, I think it was 70 total hours of driving? Yeah,
I would say the great thing about a road trip, though, is roadside attractions.
For sure, 100%.
Yeah, so I think I want to hear about the national parks, but I really want to hear about the cool roadside attractions. Like, how many world's largest did you see on this trip?
Yeah, right, exactly. We didn't see a whole lot of world's largests, but we did intentionally every day throw one thrilling thing into the day, which is easier in some regions than others. So I guess I'm actually looking at it right now. Our itinerary started in Seattle. We went south through Oregon, past Crater Lake, through Northern California, eventually over to Las Vegas, and then started hitting all those national parks that are in Arizona and Utah, up through Wyoming and Colorado for a moment, up into Montana, and then back east through Idaho and Washington. So the first half of that trip was, you know, it's a pretty urbanized environment. Obviously, like when you're driving in Northern California, there's, you know, hours and hours of just I-5 corridor. There's nothing.
Here's some trees and mountains. Enjoy.
Or here's dirt, you know.
Yeah.
There's nothing happening here.
I've done that drive from Las Vegas to, I think, Los Angeles, the big straight line through the desert where they're constantly like, please don't fall asleep. You're going to fall asleep. Don't fall asleep.
We know how boring this is.
Yeah.
I love in the movie Swingers, they do that drive in reverse. They started in Las Vegas or Los Angeles. And at first they're like, Vegas, baby, Vegas. And then 4 hours later, they're like, Vegas. Vegas, baby.
God, really pulling up an old millennial movie with that one.
Yeah.
I know. I can't watch any of the new Marvel movies with Jon Favreau without thinking just so money, baby. You're so money, you don't
baby.
even know
Yeah,
it.
Totally. Yeah. Kids have no idea what they're missing. Anyway, but to break up the monotony of some of those, 5-hour, 6-hour days of driving, we intentionally threw as many thrilling things in as we could, which is a lot easier here on the West Coast because there are water slide parks. Even into Arizona, we found this new novelty that's happening. I don't know if this is happening near you yet. Canyon coasters. These are gravity-fed roller coasters where you just find a hill somewhere and there's a chain that'll pull your single-seater car up to a tube slide, which then sends you down, really, really fast and unregulated speeds. It's really fun.
Yeah, I think we have one of those in Branson down south. So, an Ozark Mountain, Thunder Mountain or something that they have. Yeah, that's the same thing. It's just like, here's a mountain. You get to go down it and then you get to walk back up. Enjoy.
Oh, yeah. The ones that we hit were pretty posh. You start at the bottom, you get in your car, and there's a lift that takes you to the top and then sends you all the way down. And you can get the multi-pass. So we did that a few times. We knew about one in Arizona, but found other ones, including a really great one in Montana. And then, you're driving along and you just find lots of weird little oddities that clearly are remnants from that kind of Route 66 era. We got to lure them in somehow. A lot of that stuff has managed to live on. Yeah,
we live very close to Route 66. And
cool.
When we go to southern Missouri, like if we're going down to Branson, we take Highway 44 and that goes. I love, like, politics aside, Missouri is just an absolutely beautiful state. It's covered in trees, just like massive forests all over the place that are completely untouched. But yeah, if you go down 44, you'll find all kinds of great roadside attractions. My favorite one is outside of Fort Leonard Wood. There used to be imagine like a strip mall, but not, a modern strip mall. Somebody gave it the facade of like an old timey kind of saloon house and everything like that. And it's this huge strip. And it used to, once upon a time, it used to be strippers and porn stores that all of the soldiers from Fort Leonard Wood would go visit. But somebody bought it out and turned it into a place called Uranus, Missouri, which has, yes. And if you're wondering, are there Uranus jokes in it? That is the entire thrust of this place, is that, the best fudge comes from Uranus.
Oh
and
my gosh.
You want to go play putt-putt. We have the putt pirates over here that you can play. But they also have like a sideshow museum, and they have They have the world's largest belt buckle, and they also have. There used to be a place called Cooking from Scratch. It was one of those gas station restaurants. Like you stop off this gas station, there's a diner. But this place had an El Camino with a giant fiberglass chicken in the bed of it. Uh-huh. And so once that restaurant closed, like, well, what are we going to do with this incredible El Camino? And instead of what they should have done, which is give it to me, they gave it to this guy so that it can be on display. So it's a really nice, and his whole thing is like, I've always wanted a roadside attraction. So
yeah,
He
amazing.
built one. Yeah. And it's a lot of fun. So that is always one of my favorite parts.
Oh, we should all have roadside attractions. Yeah, we actually happened upon the other end of Route 66. I don't remember exactly where it was, somewhere I think in Arizona, that looked exactly like Radiator Springs from Cars.
Oh, yeah?
And I don't know how familiar you are with those movies. Yeah, my son cut his teeth. I mean, I've seen Cars 1 upwards of 100 times.
Yeah, we're in that same boat.
Yeah. And I love it. We actually several years ago went to Disney California Adventure in Los Angeles, where they've recreated Radiator Springs. And there's a moment where the sun sets and all the neon lights go up, and they play the song Shaboom, which was, a really, just nice sort of pastoral moment in the movie. And I actually started tearing up. It was amazing. Like it was true cinematic beauty. It was amazing.
It's very well designed. We've been there a few times, and Cars Land is always one of our favorites. One of my most endearing memories of it is my wife and I went to go do the Cars ride, Radiator Springs racers.
Yeah.
And we couldn't take, at the time, our daughter was 18 months, so we couldn't take her. So we left her with some friends that were there with us. And at that time, while we were in line waiting to go, you remember in the movie the hot rod cars that come and like push Mac off of the road with their.
Oh, you mean Snot Rod?
Snot Rod, yeah. Well, they have those cars, so they bring them out, and they've got a whole like dance party going on out there. So when we get done, and we're coming, and it's like, oh, the dance party was just ending, and our friends were just like, okay, don't be mad, we're very sorry. It's like, what happened? It's like. So she was dancing, and she was having a time of her life, and she's having all this great time, and then she just stopped and threw up everywhere.
Oh no!
And that just kept dancing. I'm like, I've done that. I don't know what you want out of me here.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Like, look, she just doesn't need to have, half a liter of vodka in her to do it. But, she's 18 months old. But,
that was the questionable. Why did they give her all that vodka? That is questionable. It makes you want to rethink a babysitting choice.
I mean, it was after 8 p.m. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? It's 8 o'clock somewhere. Anyway, so we were, gosh, the name escapes me right now, but somewhere in Arizona, I think it's actually where the Canyon Coaster was. We're driving along, and it just hit me like, oh my gosh, this is Radiator Springs. Mm-hmm. And, quickly Googled it because it was one of the rare moments where we actually had internet access while on the drive, which I can't recommend highly enough. Being cut off from the internet was the greatest part of this road trip.
Yeah.
But yeah, fact checked it, and it actually was one of the main inspirations for Radiator Springs. So that's kind of cool to know that, that level of nostalgia is still accessible. And in an unplanned way. People weren't flocking there like, getting their selfies next to this. It was just this old town that just happened to still exist. So that was refreshing because I had expected we'd be seeing nothing but Holiday Inn Expresses and, interstate highways.
Right.
Yeah, but that history is still there. So that was pretty cool.
So where did you stay? 4 weeks, you guys camping? You staying in hotels? What are you doing?
Oh yeah, we made a real calculated decision to never camp. We're not a camping family. We've given it the college try too.
I'm 100% with you on that one.
I count on sleep too much, and even one night of bad sleep, 5 hours on an uncomfortable thermarest. It ruins my next day. Everybody gets cranky in our family, and it's just every additional day you add on, it's like a vicious cycle. So yeah, we actually had friends who were a week behind us and did a similar road trip. Theirs was a little longer, but they did like I forget what it's called. There's an RV share service, sort of like Airbnb, where you just hook up with someone and you can rent their RV directly from them. So they rented a Winnebago for a month and truly Winnebagoed it. I guess that's not true camping, but it's a lot closer, more Spartan than what we did.
That's about as much camping as I want to do.
Yeah, even that was too much. Just looking for parking in Moab or in Arches National Park, that stresses me out. So yeah, we have a Toyota Sienna minivan, and it was quite comfortable in the parking lots of the Courtyards by Marriott and Fairfield Inn. Thank you very much. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, we are not a camping family. My daughter was just this past weekend at Girl Scout camp. All the other girls stayed overnight, and my daughter, who has never slept over at somebody else, not even grandparents' houses, has always either slept with us in a hotel room or at our house. So we knew that wasn't going to happen. But my wife said, look, we'll wake up early and we'll go out. It was an hour drive away. And they went out to do camp stuff and then came back and really reiterated the whole we are not a outdoorsy camping people, when just like, so then 3 kids got into a canoe and then were immediately covered with seed ticks.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And having to get, because seed ticks aren't like the really, really bad ones, but they're still not great. So they're not, you can use a lint roller to get them off, but that's still not, not ideal.
Less than ideal. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like ticks. I don't like I don't like being uncomfortable in the morning and all of that. And like, I know I can camp because I've done it in the Army a lot. And I know that there is a completely different feeling. Like you wake up on a cot in the middle of nowhere in California underneath a GP medium tents, surrounded by a bunch of other people snoring and farting and scratching their asses and everything. And you think, why in God's name, when we invented the indoors, would anybody choose to be outdoors? I don't understand it either. I go outside, I'll go to a park, I enjoy the park, and then I go back to my air conditioning. And I am perfectly fine with that.
Oh, yeah. You're preaching to the choir. That's exactly where I am. We live in Seattle, which is a pretty temperate place. It's, lately the last few summers, we've had maybe 4 or 5 days of 90-degree temperatures, but generally things are, in the 70s and 80s for the summer. There's no humidity. There are no bugs. We pay for it on the other end, but we are not like a high climate people. And it's funny, my band Recess Monkey plays a lot of summer outdoor shows. And organizers of these shows think that they should be setting up full sun environments so that the people of Seattle can have a nice summer experience. and the people of Seattle think they want that. And they're out in it for a minute and they're like, we've made a terrible mistake. We're not cut out for full sun.
It's so like, and that's also like, I think it might just be a age difference thing because, Rancid, the punk band Rancid, was in town recently playing at our amphitheater. And it was one of those moments, like, we didn't know that they were coming, wouldn't have gone anyway. One of my favorite punk bands, but like, it is like 90 degrees. These are all lawn seats that you want me to buy in the full sun, surrounded by other people. The toilets are going to be backed up and a bottle of water is going to cost me $8. I will just listen to Out Come the Wolves and have a beer in my basement like I normally do. And it's perfectly like, it's that outside. I'll go to an indoor show. I'll go to, any of your but that outside stuff. I'm not full sun. I'm too old. Like I got to worry about my skin now. I got to worry about, I got high cholesterol and stuff. You have to start concerning yourself with, not dying basic things like the sun.
We're the same guy. Yeah. So I feel like part of our road trip experience, because we were going to some of the hottest places in the U.S. It's a dry heat, but it's still hot. I mean,
it's still hot. It's still hot.
105 degrees. Like we hit Arches and the far reaches of the Arches National Park. The car said it was 113, which may or may not have been true, but we certainly felt like it was true. So, the premise of getting to, I don't know, it's like a salad bar, like a la carte. You can jump outside and have a miserable, really hot experience, but there's some safety in knowing that this is not just how it's going to be forever. You can do this for 90 minutes, and then there's a car waiting with functional AC, and we're going to be sleeping somewhere where we're hydrated and our heads don't hurt because we're still dehydrated from the day. And it's like a nice 70 degrees. To me, that's the balance. And for our kids, it was sustainable. Like we went out and we went pretty hard. We did some I don't know how long our hikes were, but 5 or 6 mile hike days. Through really hot conditions, and they knew that it was going to be a struggle, but that there would be a big, scenic payoff in the end. So embracing those opportunities with the balance of like, we're not putting you through something. This is not a hazing. We're going to get the best and the most that we can out of this on our terms, but there's no shame in walking into Bryce Canyon with, a backpack slung over your back and not the full camping equipment and all that. Like, let's do this on our terms. Because, the goal for my kids are 10 and 13, which are, they're both now fully human beings. I believe that if we had just left them somewhere on our trip, they probably could have figured out a way to get home. That Ellen and I talk about that all the time.
Do you think both of them could or just one of them could?
No, I think they probably both could have. Yeah. Okay. Many years ago, we were on the beach in Nice. This is pre-pandemic, so probably 2019. We're sitting on the beach in Nice, and I just asked that thought experiment. Our kids were 8 and 5 at the time. If we were to leave right now, like if we just vanished, the rapture came and we just completely disappeared, what would our kids do? And would they figure out a way to winnow their way home? And we thought like there's probably like about a 40% chance they're going to find their way to a police officer and stumble their way through French and figure out a way to, make it to the next step.
Yeah,
but
you got the extra thing of like they're in a completely different country.
Yeah. Yes, like, it was a fun thought experiment.
I don't know if I left my daughter like at a restaurant walking distance, she'd be able to make it. She'd be like, "Where did everybody go? I don't understand. Somebody help me out."
Well, guess I live here now.
Yeah. She likes quesadillas and rice, so she'll be fine. She'll survive.
Yeah, for us, it was just more like, what is the safety net like in Nice where if a kid suddenly just appears lost and there's no local tether at all, is the safety net robust enough to be able to somehow like package that kid up and deliver them, 5,000 miles away? And our assumption was maybe.
You gotta teach them how to say "Take me to the American Embassy" in French.
Oh yeah, that's good. There are 2 things you gotta learn, kids: how to order gelato and how to find the American Embassy.
Exactly. There's 2 things. There's 2 dangers in this world. You are lost in a foreign country, and you are gelato-less.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, ice cream first, because that's gonna really power the trip to the embassy, I think.
Exactly. So, what were some of your favorite places?
Yeah, I just got to give a big shout out right now to Utah, the state of Utah. Southern Utah is unbelievably beautiful. I had no idea. I've played shows in and around Salt Lake City. In that, I mean, it's a city and it felt like a pretty urban and suburbanized environment. It was really hot. People were nice, but I didn't get any sense of what, was waiting for us a couple hours south. But all along the southern border, you have Bryce Canyon, Zion National Park. They're both on the southwest corner of Utah. And then you go through the Grand Escalante up to Moab and Arches. That whole band is the most beautiful place I've ever been. It's crazy how instantly cinematic it is. Unlike anything that's here in Seattle or, like we went to Yellowstone after seeing all this stuff, and no disrespect to Yellowstone, but it was such a snoozer as compared to what was happening in Utah. I can't speak highly enough of it.
Well, you didn't get the full Yellowstone experience of being mauled by a bear. So
that's so true.
That's on you. That's on you for not diving in deeper into this. I've always heard great things about how beautiful Utah is, and I would love to do that. We're going to be going to Hawaii pretty soon.
Hey, which island?
Oahu. So we're gonna do Pearl Harbor. I'm hoping that we're going to be able to do the USS Missouri. And I know that they have a volcano national park out there. That's also a part of the whole thing. Are your kids doing the Junior Ranger program too?
I don't know about that. What is that?
Okay, so I'm pretty sure that this is national park. So the Junior Ranger program is all the national parks. We learned about this at the Arch because we have, St. Louis has the Arch.
Oh yeah.
Jefferson Expansion. It's not Jefferson Expansion Memorial anymore. They changed the name, But what you do is you get like a little activity book, and then at the end you get like this it's like a little badge. It looks like a ranger badge. It's laser woodcut, and you get to collect them at all the different national parks that you go to.
Oh,
so
wow.
Yeah, and it's for kids, but I know adults do it too because it's a little collectible thing. But that is that's a big one that we're trying to do is get more of those badges and go around. We don't have a lot of national parks around us. We have the Arch, which is great. It's the tallest one, 630 feet tall. You can go up in it, but we don't have these beautiful mountain ranges and this kind of untouched areas like even in Missouri, like places that I would think like, look, this should be obviously a national park because it's this huge forested area that should probably be protected, but protected against what? Nobody's doing anything with it. It's southern Missouri. There's nothing there. There's mountains and there's deer. It's not good for growing anything. All our agriculture is up north. So, it doesn't really need protection. And also Fort Leonard Wood's down there. So what do the military's got to shoot at something. I
heard they're going to try to turn Jason Bateman and Laura Linney into a national park after their turn on the Ozark TV show. So there's still hope. Maybe. I would love, if you ever get a chance to visit Missouri, there's two places that I think that you would love. One is Branson, because Branson, Missouri, the best explanation I've ever heard is Las Vegas run by Ned Flanders. Yes.
And you would think, oh, does that mean there's no gambling? There is. Not in Branson proper, but there are casinos nearby. But it's a great place. It's got it's got Silver Dollar City, which is a 1890s kind of frontier town amusement park. The biggest issue with Silver Dollar City is that, as I said, this is a mountainous region, so it's not exactly on a flat parcel of land. You have to go up and down literal mountains that have been paved with blacktop. Real American exceptionalism there.
Oh, sure.
But a lot of great, that's where our lakes are. Missouri lakes are absolutely beautiful. There's a lot of boating that happens on them. But also we have the Precious Moments Chapel. The Funko Pops for grandmother, the Precious Moments.
Oh, I didn't realize that's a real place.
Oh, it is. It's a real place that you can visit. You can pilgrimage to it. It's got a whole chapel. It had everything. The artist just recently passed, as they call it. I call it. That's how they refer to him, as the artist.
The artist, sure.
The artist. So, and it's a very surreal place to visit. It's one of those. I don't suggest like, hey, me and the family are going to come and have fun at this place. It's one of those like, go there by yourself so you can really like take in all the weird of this place, because it's a real weird place. It's a real weird place. But
oh yeah,
it's fantastic though. That place also has a steakhouse that is attached to a rodeo arena, I guess, studio. I don't know. So you can enjoy a steak dinner while watching little kids practice their rodeo.
Wow.
Which we did. Yeah, like 6 and 7 year old kids that would like ride in on a pony, and like they have to jump off the pony. There's like this little baby goat, and they have to take it down and hog tie it, but it's just like these little kids toddling up. The goat is like the most chill goat that has ever existed. It's just like, okay, I'm the goat that lays down, and then you tie my legs. Yes, very nice. Okay, goodbye.
Is there a pipeline between the animals featured at the rodeo and what's being served on your plate? Any correlation there?
Jack, I wish Americans were more into goat, because goat and mutton are so fantastic, and I ate so much of that in Iraq and Afghanistan, and I don't know what it is about Americans. We want our cow, our chicken, and our pig, and anything outside of that is not very kosher, I guess. I tell you, I went to Japan, and when I found out that I was going to the horse food capital of Japan, not like we make food for horses, but would you like to eat horse?
Right.
I ate horse as often as I could.
Wow.
You can't do that in America. We don't eat our horses here. We just, I don't know, ride them and let girls be enamored by them, I suppose.
Well, we put peanut butter in their mouths and give them TV shows too. That's a big part of it. Mr. Ed was the death knell of the horse meat industry here in the U.S.
We humanized the horse, and now I can't eat it.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Well, at least Charlotte's Web didn't do that with bacon. So I think Americans like pork way too much to let a spider tell us what to do.
Oh, yeah. And so we just go after the spider that kills mosquitoes. We should be Team Spider. If it's not Spider-Man, no one likes spiders. I think That's probably the origin story of why.
My studio always has these little tiny jumping spiders in here, and I'm just always shooing them away. It's like there's no food up here on the laptop, so all the little ants are down on the. Not to make it sound like I live in a hovel or anything, which is it's a shed constructed in my backyard. It gets ants sometimes.
Sure. So we have something at the state fair called mutton bustin'. I'm not sure if this is like an international or nationally renowned thing, or if it's just here in the Seattle area.
I'm going to bring it to whatever it is. I'm bringing it to
mutton
Missouri.
bustin'. It's junior rodeo, but it's kids riding on the back of whatever animals, like sheep, I guess. They're like
a mutton, a sheep or I guess goat and sheep are not both considered mutton. I don't know.
I'm not sure. They're big, curly, sheep-looking things that these small kids, like 6-year-olds, are grabbing onto, and they just let them out of the gate just like a real rodeo, and they're just trying to hold on. And there's no shot in Freude quite like watching a 6-year-old getting dragged through mud by like a just terrified sheep. It's an experience.
There's a big part of me is just like, this is a little torturous to the animal and a little torturous to the kid, but also like sometimes you got to give a kid a little bit of a traumatic brain injury when they're little, just to shake them up a little bit.
Yeah, I just took my kids on a 3-week road trip. I know exactly what you're talking about. We gave them the same thing.
If you are not traumatizing your children in one way or another, you're failing as a kid, as a parent.
I'm doing it with jokes. I'm doing it with road trips.
God, the dad jokes in your house must be just untenable.
Off the charts. Yeah. Sometimes my kids will put me on word rations during dinner. Like, sorry, that's all your words. No more talking, Dad.
That's all you get. I need to put that on my child, especially when she's entering minute 15 of describing Pokemon to me.
Yeah, word rationing. Yeah, and because you can even specify a specific number of words, so then you have to really choose them carefully. I got 100 to get through all of dinner.
Are the kids sitting there tallying them up? They have a little spreadsheet there.
We've not gotten that detailed yet. There's a line from the most recent Spider-Verse movie where one of the Spider-Men says, "I've had just about the right amount of you. It's time to be done. I've had about the right amount." So that's kind of what my kids tell me on the regular.
Anything further is going to be diminishing returns on your part here.
I've had the right amount.
I can understand that. So you said some state parks too.
Yes.
Las Vegas, did you go to Grand Canyon then, I assume?
We did. Hoover Dam, then the Grand Canyon. Yes. Hoover Dam is, I believe, a national monument, if I'm not mistaken. Although the Parks Pass gets you into those places too. So that's exciting.
I guess that's still operational. So it's more of a working monument than anything else.
It's amazing. I mean, standing on the edge of the Hoover Dam is a real spectacle, and just the sheer audacity of building a structure like that. A
dam, I haven't been to Hoover, but in Afghanistan, there was a place called the Sarobi Dam, which is very much the same. It's a large, we just wedged a bunch of concrete in here, and now we make this thing provide electricity for us. And you just but how do you do this? And then they're like, well, here's how we did it. It's I still don't understand how you did this, though. Thankfully, smarter people are in charge of these things.
Well, particularly, how do you do it 100 years ago, with steam-powered technology? And probably the no OSHA laws was a big part of how they did it. But
usually very helpful when you can when part of the mortar is just worker paste.
Yeah, and we did. I don't know why we prepped the kids for this, but at some point we said, just so you know, there are probably a few bodies here in the dam, and we're standing on the dam, and the kids are like, "Ooh, where are they?"
Look, just because you got a haunted dam doesn't mean that it's not a useful dam. Look, everything should have a ghost in it. We are big believers in something called the ghosts of commerce, where you just say something is haunted so that you can get people to pay you money to come check out your haunted.
Oh, smart. Yeah.
I would absolutely Hoover Dam. Haunted Hoover Dam, though. I'm there.
Sign me up. Yeah.
I don't believe in ghosts, but I want to hear your story. I want to hear what you're trying to tell me. And if it's we ground 50 people into paste and put them into the mortar of here, Ooh, yeah, that's haunted.
Wow. Yeah,
That's
they're going to
haunted as
sell a
hell.
lot of tickets to that dam. Everyone's going to take the dam tour. Yeah, we went to another state park in Utah called Goblin Valley State Park, which is truly amazing. And for anyone that's like planning a trip through Utah, it's not convenient to get to. I highly recommend it. It's this crazy mud flow kind of park where there are these big stalagmites just out in the open, and every single one of them looks like a chess piece or a head. They look like goblins, and there are thousands of these things spread all the way around. It's truly amazing, just constantly baking under that 100-degree Utah sun.
Enjoying and getting baked by the sun and enjoying the sights. One spot that I've always wanted to go to is White Sands, which I don't know if it's a national park, but it's where they tested the first nuclear bomb.
Oh, right.
And
yeah.
You can actually go to the place where they detonated it, but it's only 2 days out of the week because it still is an active or 2 days out of the year because it still is an active artillery range. So it's like, look, we have 2 days where we say there's no artillery. We're not going to be shooting anything. You can come out here and rub your face on all of the irradiated glass out here if you like. And then you can go away, 2 days a year.
You'll go away glowing from the experience.
We have that's my other. I'm very into our American atomic history. We have an atomic waste dump here in Missouri, which it's a so we had a factory out in Weldon Spring, Missouri, which is about an hour outside of St. Louis, where they made TNT. And then once we discovered atomic nuclear energy, they said, hey, instead of doing TNT, you should do atomic stuff. And then 10 years later, they said, hey, remember when we told you that you should do atomic stuff? Turns out that was a real bad idea, and all your jaws are going to fall off. Oof. But also, we are going to go ahead and deal with this. So what they had to do was go and disassemble the entire factory piece by piece, because you can't just knock it down. It's going to, you're going to send atomic radiation everywhere.
Of course.
And there's like, we're going to put it on a pile. You're going to take your radiation suits off. You're going to put it on the pile. Tomorrow, we're going to come back. We're going to do it all again with new radiation suits. And they did this for a couple years. And then they put like, all right, we're going to put all, these rubber on top of it. And then this dirt and then that. And then, so there's this massive monument of these giant rocks. And it has a stairwell, so you can go to the top of it, because, of course, people would be climbing it regardless. So you got to give them a stairwell so you can go up. And yeah, it's just like, look, yeah, this is a big atomic waste dump, and you can learn more about it in our visitor center. But also, this is going to be here for the next 10,000 years.
Yeah. Whether you like it or not.
Whoops.
Oopsie doopsie.
Yeah.
Oopsie daisy.
So I got some places for you to visit if you come to St. Louis. We'll go up into the arch, and then we'll go lick the atomic rocks.
And then we're going to get like the weekend pass for the City Museum, right? This place has been on my list for the last 10 years. Every time that I think about going to the Midwest, it's the first place I want to go.
It is one of our greatest, best kept secrets. It was created by a crazy man. But crazy in the good way, artistically crazy.
Yeah.
And it's got, you'll see the world's largest pair of underpants there.
Oh, wow.
A lot of Bob Castley saved a lot of architectural stuff too from Chicago, from buildings being torn down. So a lot of that's in there as well. But then also there's a 10-story slide and a school bus on the roof that you can go into and jump around in and scare the hell out of everybody.
And there's an airplane up there too, right? And an outdoor sort of habit trail that you can climb in. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I took my daughter to it when she was maybe about 18 months, maybe about 2 years, and she was all about, she's like, woo, climbing, doing all this stuff, because she didn't have that oh, I look down and I realize it's a 50-foot drop underneath me. Underneath this shaky chicken wire that I'm in.
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Nobody has died at the City Museum.
Amazing.
Supposedly somebody lost a finger once, but that's not dead. So
yeah. That's a story.
Yeah. Are you an amusement park if you don't, claim at least one appendage? So I highly recommend it. It's great. There's also a circus in there. Oh, wow. The Circus Harmony. It's all kids.
Oh,
so
cool.
It's all kids from as young as 8 8 or 9 up to, teenagers and everything. So it's a real experience there. And yeah, you can easily lose a whole day there.
During COVID, in the bleakest months of what are we going to do to get out of this house, I spent a lot of time surfing various residences on Zillow, and there was actually a multi-bedroom apartment in the City Museum for sale 2 or 3 years ago, something like that. And I think it might have perhaps been the creators. Yes. Crazy architectural salvage, like all this weird Art Deco stuff, just everywhere you looked, it was something different. Like, this looks like a log cabin and this area over here looks like something else. And it was all behind a hidden door in just one hallway of the City Museum where you would have to know where it was and, figure out your way in there. Yeah. And I thought about it for a hot minute. Like, I went to St. Louis when I was a kid. I've been to the Arch. I've not been there in the intervening 35 plus years, but I would consider just cold calling the entire city and buying this property because this is the coolest place I've ever seen in my life.
Bob Castley, it's very unfortunate because he was working on a place called Cementland, which was up in northern St. Louis. There's a old cement factory that has gone derelict. Nobody was using it, and he had been in the process of turning it into another crazy place to go run around. Unfortunately, the bulldozer, he was operating a bulldozer one morning, and it rolled on him. And
he was, no!
And that was 11 or 12 years ago. But I have actually, going into Cementland was for a chunk of time a rite of passage for some people, because you could easily just there's a little city park nearby because there's a old famous bridge nearby called Chain of Rocks. So you could park there and you could easily just kind of hop the berm and get into this area. And it was incredibly dangerous. There's, not rickety stairwells that haven't been taken care of. All things that's if there was somebody who was here doing the work, taking care of it, it would have been fine. But, we were all in our 20s. So, of course, we're just danger. I don't care.
Sure,
just go run around, giant holes in the floor and a 80-foot drop. That's fine. Just walk around.
That's fine.
Walk
Bones
around
like
the hole. Don't go in the hole. You'll be fine. So he had a lot of really great ideas and a fantastic artist. And yeah, it's unfortunate because he was one of our really quirky St. Louis people that made this place a really interesting spot. But I know the people that own and operate the City Museum, though, they're very into keeping the whole Bob Castley thing alive.
Oh, it's so tragic. How do you spin that? He died doing what he loved.
Kind of.
I guess that's a spin.
I think we had a couple years of conspiracy theories of he was murdered and by the CEO of Caterpillar. What do you think's happening? He was out there in the middle of the morning or in early morning by himself, and he tipped it, and somebody came and was like, oh wow, nobody's gonna go and flip a bulldozer, guy. I'm sure everybody has their enemies, but I don't. That seems to be going a little far beyond the necessity there.
Oh, conspiracy theories are so fun, though. You really feel like you're discovering something new. You're like Marie Curie or something. Oh, you won't believe what I found out.
Yeah, we see what happened to Marie Curie with what she found out.
Yeah, well, right, exactly, yeah.
Her jaw fell off.
Hey, she died doing what she loved.
What she loved. Glowing reviews.
Glowing reviews.
Jack, I appreciate you coming on. We're going to bring you on more often because I know you want to talk more dad stuff.
Oh, I'd love to, yeah.
Nate is in the middle of a move, going to yet another foreign country to go spread Hoosierism, I'm sure, to the beautiful word of Indiana to the people of Switzerland, I think it is.
Yeah, I saw him a selfie at the airport heading to Geneva, and he was carrying a giant Mike Pence flag. What's that all about? That's interesting.
I'm gonna plant that flag somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, Jack, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much for your time and effort. What do you got going on?
My current season of my podcast, Jack Forman's Monkey House on Patreon, came to a close today.
Wow.
So what I've got going on is I'm getting my kids back to school. We have between 1.5 and 2 weeks of their summers left. So we're scrambling around town. We got to figure out what to do with this cat that's in the bathroom downstairs. So that's going to be the better part of this week. And then, I'm just going to be riding my bike around Seattle for the next several weeks. So what I've got going on is not much. It's quite nice.
Isn't it, though?
It's really nice.
My wife and kid are going out of town for 3 days tomorrow. And it's oh, look at all this free time I suddenly get. I have so many projects I can work on. I'm going to go watch a movie. I'm very excited about watching a full movie. It's something that I want to watch, not my daughter demanding that I take her to go see Madam Web.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
She loved that movie, man. She was into it. And I was like, all right.
Someone had to watch that movie. Good for you.
I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong, but yeah, we were the only people in that theater.
Yeah,
and that was like the opening weekend. So
do you talk at the screen? That's the nice thing about being alone in a movie theater watching a bad movie.
No, I don't think that she would have appreciated me talking over all the good action that was happening in the cinematic masterpiece, Madam Web.
I'm not lost in your narrative, Madam Web. I don't believe you.
Are you Spider-Man? I don't get it. Are you supposed to be Spider-Man? Now you're just blind. Are you Spider-Man now? I don't get it.
Oh, spoiler. I haven't seen it yet. Now I got some new information from this conversation.
Yeah, her thing is that her thing is that she can see into the future, but like very quickly into the future. So it's like, oh, I can see in the future in like 2 seconds this guy's going to shoot me, so I know to move my head. And that's her superpowers. And like, you should have been Spider-Man instead. Spider-Man's way cooler. Yeah,
Spidey sense is a lot longer than 2 seconds. Come on, right. Madam Web.
Spider-Man doesn't have to be blind. Like, I don't know why they made Madam Web blind at the end, but yeah, it is. Look, I don't write the movies. I just go and suffer through them.
Yeah, good for you. Yeah, you're taking one for the team so that the rest of us didn't have to watch it.
Exactly. There it is. Don't watch Madam Web.
All right,
in case you were wondering.
And if you're gonna die, do it while you're doing something you love.
Exactly.
Great to talk to you, Francis.
You too, Jack. Thank you so much.
See ya.